Okay, next we have a Tektronix arbitrary waveform generator. It's a fancy name to say signal generator, but this can do much more than the sine wave, the square wave, and your triangle waves. Okay, first thing, the probes that you received can be used for the scope and the signal generator, but please never ever use the fancy times 10 probes that you can use for the scope on this generator. You will break it. Okay, this is the input only, it's not used for outputs, this probe. Right, first off, on the screen it will show you exactly what kind of signal you have, on the top what channel you're on, the frequency what it's running at, and down here it will show you the amplitude, so the peak to peak, and if there's an offset it will also show you that, and the period of the signal. Okay, so on the scope, if you plug this in, you should immediately see this kind of signal. Okay, right. Also, it has two channels. Okay, if you want to switch between channels, they can be set independently. There's a channel 1, 2 button. You can switch between them. And you can also switch your outputs on or off. So when the light is on, it is giving out a signal. When the light is off, there is no signal. Okay, the basics is up front, the sine wave, the square wave, and the triangle wave, or the pulses. So you can switch between them very quickly. So for example, let's go with a sine wave. Here on the side you will see next to the buttons there is frequency and period, start phase, amplitude, and offset. So if you want to set the frequency, you can either do it frequency or you can input the period. Okay, so let's go with frequency, and let's say we want a 5 kilohertz signal. Just press the 5, and then on the side there is options, megahertz, kilohertz, hertz, or millihertz. Press the kilohertz, and we're now on a kilohertz setting. Okay, you can also use this knob to tune it. Okay, and if you want to tune the decimals, you can use the arrows to move it around, and you can set those decimals. Right, amplitude. Currently it is on 500 millivolts peak. Let's say we want a 1 volt signal. You can say peak to peak, or you can set the RMS value. Okay, let's make that 10. 10 volt peak to peak. There we go, 5 volts up, 5 volts down. Right. When you're using two signals and you want them to be out of phase, you can also set the phase of the signal. So 90 degrees, and now it also shows you that it's 90 degrees out of phase. We go to channel 2, the 2 is 90 degrees out of phase with each other. Right. The maximum output of this generator is 20 volts peak to peak. So never try and have something bigger than that. We can also tune the offset. Let's give us a 5 volt offset, and it can't. Okay, because it's on its limit. So you can't go above any limits of this signal generator. It will warn you at least. So let's try and give it a 1 volt. Still too much. Okay, means that this signal generator is already working at its output capacity. So let's rather reduce the output amplitude. Let's make it 5 volt peak to peak, and let's try and set the offset now. And now we have 5 volts at the top and it is lifted. Okay, so you can even see here what your signal is supposed to look like when you insert it on the scope.